together with them in the clouds, to meet the Lord in the air, and thus we shall always be with the Lord. Therefore comfort one another with these words. And so notice what Paul is saying. He says that we who are alive and remain, that we shall be caught up. There's the word right there, the Greek word harpazo, translated rapturo by Jerome, and here being translated into the English as caught up. We will be caught up to meet the Lord. Notice, to meet Him in the air, and thus we shall always be with the Lord. And then Paul's admonition, comfort one another with these words. Now, your ability to derive comfort from this doctrine does depend to a certain degree on your understanding of when this event will take place. Now, let me clarify this. No one knows when, in the sense of the exact day or moment or week or month, that this event is going to happen. Many people have thought that they knew better than Scripture. And even recently, people were predicting that the rapture was going to take place on such and such a date. There was a man who wrote a book from the States, and that book was circulated all over this country, declaring that the rapture was going to take place on May 14th of this year. And there were many people that were concerned about that, many people that were excited, many people that were very anxious about it. And people came to me personally and asked me what I thought. And I said, ask me on May the 15th. You see, because Jesus made it perfectly clear that no one can know, and no matter how diligently one might study and try to put all of the pieces together, there are certain things that we just are not going to be able to know, and this is one of them. We will not know the exact time of this event. But what I want to talk about is the timing of this event in relation to the Great Tribulation. And as I said, your ability to be comforted by this doctrine will to some degree depend on your understanding of this event in relation to the Great Tribulation. I purposely contrasted World War II with the tribulation period to show you that it is going to be a horrific time for the human race on the planet Earth at that time. I think some people have underestimated the magnitude of the death and destruction that's going to occur during the tribulation period. This is the most frightening, the most horrifying period in all of the history of the world. Now, there are many good Christian people who hold to the view that Christians will go through the tribulation period, and therefore they are in their theological position what you would call post-tribulational. They believe that the rapture will occur after the tribulation. There are some who don't want to go quite that far, and they believe that the rapture will occur in the middle of the final 7-year period, just before the Great Tribulation. And there are others, like myself, who believe in what is called a pre-tribulational rapture, believing that the rapture will take place before the tribulation. Now, I'm going to make a statement that many people would find very disagreeable, but I will seek to back up my statement with scriptural proof momentarily. But my statement is this: the New Testament overwhelmingly teaches that the rapture will occur before the tribulation. Now that, of course, would bring forth many challenges from various quarters. But it doesn't really matter whether that's my opinion or not. What really matters is, do the Scriptures teach that? And I want to show you tonight that that is what the Scriptures teach. And so we're going to look at a few passages that are very critical when it comes to this issue. And then I want to give you 7 reasons why the tribulation is an event that comes after the rapture, or the rapture is an event that precedes the tribulation. But let's begin by looking together at the Gospel of Luke, chapter 21, and we're going to look at verses 34 through 36. The Gospel of Luke, chapter 21, verses 34 through 36. And I want to encourage you tonight to follow me closely as we go through these scriptures. And we need to think our way through these things. We need to pose some questions and answer some questions. And in order to come to the right conclusion, we're going to have to work at it. And I find that a lot of times people don't want to do that. They don't want to really exercise themselves mentally. They're just content to let somebody else do all the figuring and then say, oh, well, I guess that's the way it's going to be. And a lot of people say, oh, well, I hold to the pan view, which is it'll all pan out in the end. I don't like the pan view myself. I'm a little more dogmatic than that. So I want to ask you to be patient and to work with me through these things, beginning here in Luke chapter 21. Listen to what Jesus Christ himself said. But take heed to yourselves, lest your hearts be weighed down with carousing, drunkenness, and cares of this life, and that day come on you unexpectedly. For it will come as a snare on all those who dwell on the face of the whole earth. Now let's be clear about one thing. Jesus is talking about the tribulation. He says that day. And then he says that this particular day will come upon all those who dwell on the face of the earth. So he's talking about a specific day. He's talking about the tribulation period that is to come. Now listen to what he says. He says, watch therefore and pray always that you may be counted worthy to escape all these things that will come to pass and to stand before the Son of Man. So this is the admonition of Jesus to us. In relation to the great tribulation period, pray that you may be counted worthy to escape these things. Now, I have heard from those who hold to the other views that Christians who embrace a pre-tribulational position are nothing but escapist. Well, I will admit that yes, I indeed am an escapist. I am simply taking the advice of Jesus seriously. He said, pray that you may escape these things. I want to escape these things. There's nothing noble in going through the tribulation period. Now listen to what he said. He did not only say that we would be able to escape these things, but then he added this, that you might also stand before the Son of Man. Now to me, that speaks of what Paul is talking about, being caught up and meeting the Lord in the air. But let's go on. Revelation chapter 3 verse 10 is another verse that I want to draw your attention to. And once again, Jesus Christ is speaking. This time, he is dictating to his apostle John. And John is penning the words of Jesus for his church. And these words were directed to the church of Philadelphia. Revelation chapter 3 verse 10. And listen to what Jesus said here. He said, because you have kept my command to persevere, or because you have kept the word of my patience, I also will keep you from the hour of trial, which shall come upon the whole world to test those who dwell on the earth. I will keep you from the hour of trial, which shall come upon the whole world to test those who dwell on the earth. Very similar terminology to what we just read in Luke. The hour of trial, coming to test all those who dwell on the earth. Jesus said, I will keep you from it. Now this is a very important point. The word from is vital to an accurate understanding of this statement. Now, let me tell you my own personal experience. I had an individual come to me after I had taught on the subject of the rapture, and I didn't bring out this particular point at that time, and he challenged me on my position. He was actually a friend of mine who held to the other position, so we can be friends and disagree. I hope we all understand that. But as we were talking, he said to me, he said, the Bible teaches that we are going to be protected. We're going to be guarded. And when Jesus said he would keep you from the hour of trial, what he was talking about is that he would protect you through the tribulation period. And although I hadn't touched on the point, I said, oh no, my friend, you are wrong on this point in particular. Because I knew the meaning of the word, the Greek word, and he apparently was ignorant of it. The Greek word that's translated from is the preposition ek, ek. And the preposition ek means always out of. Out of. Not in the midst of, but it means out of. Let me give you a couple of examples from words that we have taken over into English from the Greek. Think of the word eccentric. Eccentric. That's two Greek words, ek and centron. It means simply out of center. So you see an eccentric person. Well, that person's out of center. Just a little bit off balance. Ecclesia is another word that we have brought into the English language without really translating it. That is the term that's used in the New Testament that's translated church. Ecclesia.